Hey, so I'll just quickly go over that test that you did last week. So, first question, talking about the difference between an external and internal. So, an internal link is if you click on it, it takes you to another web page, but it's within the same website. Okay, an external is when you click on it and it takes you to another page, but it's on a different website. To view a website, you'll use a web browser. Okay, so don't use things like Internet Explorer. They're examples of a web browser, but you'd want to say either web browser or browser. This one will always appear, and they're just asking you, well, what's the size of this image, and they're wanting it in kilobytes. So whenever you work out the size, you get it in bits, and then you have to think about how you actually get it into a good unit size. Now with this, just you could even highlight the numbers. Okay, we want to find out the number of pixels, and it says for each pixel it requires 8 bits. So all you're doing there is just thinking, well, number of bits is the number of pixels times the colour depth. So the number of pixels is just like calculating the area of a rectangle. So it's 400 times 600, so that's 1 mark. For each pixel you get 8 bits to save each pixel. That's another mark. So if you actually got this, it's a 3 mark question, but that gives you your 2 marks. And then you get this, obviously a very big number, it's in bits. So you divide it by 8 to get to bytes, and then divide by 1024 to get to kilobytes. And that's where you get your 3 marks. 1 mark for the answer there, and 1 and 2 for the actual working out. Right, web browser, so again, what can you do? You can view websites, but you can add to your favourites, you can bookmark it. You've got the wee refresh button that you can press to actually refresh the page. So there's a number of different things you can do with a website, or a web browser should I say. Right, next question. Again, you're just converting 47 into binary, so you're thinking about, and you have to do it from right to left. Okay, so 1, 2, and it's going up in factors of 2 because it's binary, so it's going up in factors of 2. There's going to be 8 placeholdings, and just think about one of each. What combination of these numbers do you have to have in order to add up to 47? So you just go down a lot of them. So we need a 32, we need a 8, that takes you to 40, we need a 4 to get to 44, 46, 47. And you know it's an odd number if the number at the very end is odd, because any odd number added to an even number will always be odd. Now we've got a bank employee, one security precaution. So quite often these are highlighted, what you're having to look at to prevent unauthorised access. Well, you could put a password and username. You could use biometrics, so that might be like fingerprint or retina scan, or it could be encrypted, so that's when the actual data is jumbled up and you have to decrypt it. So you have one of these special keys, so you get that when you're using your wireless internet connection at home. Right, next one is before going live, you want to think about testing, so they want to make sure the website looks like the original design. What else? Well, check the navigation bar, check the hyperlinks, so there might be an internal, external links, make sure the graphics aren't pixelated. You might want to test it on different browsers as well, so there's quite a number of things there. Right, next one. This is something that you really want to be quite happy, you know the difference between them. Right, client server and a peer-to-peer network. Right, so that's the one we use at school. You've got the servers through next door, and any computer you log on to is a client. So the server holds all your data, allows you to have access onto the network, and it actually gives you different user rights. So I can access different areas within the server than you can. We can share the one printer, so that's why I've got the one printer in the room, but 21 computers can all access it. So this is just through a client server network. Okay, so you store the data centrally, so all your My Documents is stored through Nextdoor, and that means we can back it up at the end of every school day. We can have different rights and we can share peripherals. Thing is, to actually buy the hardware is expensive, the software is expensive, and you actually have to employ somebody to maintain it all. Peer-to-peer is just when you connect computers, everyday computers together. So there's no central backup. If you wanted to install software, you have to install them in each one individually. If you wanted to back up your computers, you have to back up individually. quite often it's not got a username and password, so it's not secure, and since it's not secure, it's got more risks from viruses. Well, that's something you want to pretty much memorise. This, believe it or not, it's one mark, right? And it's just asking you about, oh, here's a Holly Bob's website, and it's just saying what's the URL. So you actually need to write the whole thing down, okay? Don't just do it up until there because you won't get the mark, right? So you just write the whole mark down. Right, you've got things like bold, tag, italic and underlined, so these are all tags, so they come in pairs, okay? So don't give an example, tags is the whole family name of them. And here's another website, it doesn't give you the URL, but what it is asking is, well, you've got a website and you want to have it so it can be shown in a smartphone. Two reasons why it's unsuitable. If you think about it, I mean, there's a lot of content, so basically there's just too much information to be crammed into a small screen. You'll probably notice that a lot of the drop downs are quite small as it stands, so imagine that in a touch screen. Okay, so these things would be really quite hard to actually work if it's in a touch screen. So you've got too much information for a small screen, icons are too small to click. So that's two examples, there's other ones as well. And again, here's another picture of a website, and what they're asking is, well, here's what's two features to aid navigation. So one feature is you've got yourself a breadcrumb, right? So it allows you to actually look at how you got to the companies. You went through photos and then through home, so if you wanted to go back to photos, you're just clicking photos and it'll take you to there. And you've got previous and next buttons, you've got a search bar, you've got a home button, and it does that, it highlights the section you're in on the navigation bar. Okay, so there's a number of things there, and then it takes us down to this one, and they're just asking, yeah, why isn't this good practice? And with a website you want to keep it as consistent as possible, so it looks pretty inconsistent. Right, keylogger. If you've got a keylogger on your computer, that basically is a program that actually records all your keystrokes, and it's looking out for like your PIN number and passwords, and then it can get that information to the person that's created the software. So it's spyware, and it's something that is a serious threat, because if you're doing online shopping, you could be typing in your PIN number, you could be typing in passwords, credit card numbers, and that keeps a record of that, so it collects all your details, and then somebody can use it to then commit online fraud, right? And here's another one, wired and wireless networks. The wired network always portability of workstations. What's one advantage for having a wired network? Well, it is more secure, right? It's harder to hack into a wired network as opposed to wireless, because remember, a wireless, you have to, anyone can gain access to that signal. That should be secure, can't even spell that properly. It's faster download speed, so don't just say it's faster, right? You have to say faster at what? So faster down, and it's more reliable, it doesn't suffer from as much interference, right? This is a good one for making sure you read the whole question. All the links have been tested, right? So they're just asking you state another type of testing, so you'll see these questions come up quite often. So don't mention the links because that's already been done. So you could talk about the quality of the graphic, make sure the graphic's not pixelated, make sure it's all spelt correctly. And it works in different browsers, so you could think about it working in Chrome, Firefox, but again, don't mention the brand names, just mention the word browser. Right, bizarre wee question, just asking you what's the purpose of this website, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. It's just there to provide information, exams and timetables, etc. And that's a URL, right? So you could write the whole thing if you wanted, but that's a URL there. Now this one, I've left that blank because there's quite a few different accessibility features and I wouldn't be able to fit it all in. But what we've got, if you look top right hand corner, it's quite often that, listen to the page, so that allows you, if you're visually impaired, to actually listen to the content. If you've got visual impairment as well, you can resize. If you are colourblind, you can change the colour scheme to suit yourself, okay? The actual marking scheme, I'll just see. So there's some examples of why. So screen reader reads out the page, etc. Right. It can be used for those visual impairment, changing the colour schemes, etc. Okay, so that's from the actual official marking scheme. And I think that we're nearly done. So what we've got here is we're talking about what's the standard file format. That's GIF. Explain how this aids navigation. Well, you can actually look at the path in which you took in order to access the page you're currently in. If you wanted to go back to Learner, you don't just go back to the home page, you just click in Learner and it'll take you to the level before. And again, another one about internet connections, basically saying two concerns about Wi-Fi: slow data transfer rate, so don't just say slow, remember what it's slow at. Security issues, because people can hack into it, you can get signal interference, and it's a limited range, so you might have a hub in one room and you might be starting to lose connection in another room. Okay, and that is your test there. Okay.